welcome to episode 3 of Candid Conversations with Coach K and Kim. We're gonna pick up from where we left off last episode, where we spoke of purpose, right? And in our last episode, we gave 5 sort of takeaways as to how anyone, a young person, or anyone for that matter, can, journey towards their purpose or can work on discovering their purpose, okay? What we're going to do this episode, and likely the next few episodes to come, is to really expound on those takeaways that we gave. So we said them, but we want to go a little bit more in depth with them. And we're starting off with the point number 3 that we made last episode. So if you haven't watched it, then you want to go back and watch the last episode so you know specifically what we're speaking of. But the point number 3 was it's important to be faithful in the little things. Okay, so we're going to encourage you this episode to, really be faithful with what God has given you right now. So with whatever situation you're working with right now, we're going to discuss how that can lead you to where you're really trying to go in life. Right, Coach?
Well, yeah, I remember the last time we spoke about that. As we were coming here, you told me that I said half a loaf is plenty bread, and sometimes it's how you look at it. The little things, do you see it as your cup is half empty or it's half full? And being faithful in those small things is basically a stepping stone to know if you can manage
the larger things.
The larger things to come. So it's a good thing that we need to talk about to people that might be not faithful in it or doubting it, or basically think that nothing is working for them, nothing is going their way. So it's just a little bit of information, a little bit of testimony to get people to understand that it doesn't matter how long it takes, but it's coming.
Yes. So we're going to speak to you and share a bit of our own experiences, right? That's what we're going to do this episode, so that it can help anyone looking at this to see, hopefully to see themselves in our situations and see how, being faithful again with what it is that they've been given can really take them to the next level, right? And I think this is a really important conversation to have, because oftentimes people, think, well, okay, I'm not in my ideal position right now. I'm not where it is that I want to be right now. So they sort of neglect critical things or things that are really important and just
going by.
Yes, and just do like as if it's not important, it's not significant, because this isn't the job that I want right now, or this isn't the opportunity that I want right now, and they really miss the bigger picture. They're not looking at the bigger picture.
Yes, it's true, because the thing is, sometimes you're really doing a job or whatever it is that you're doing, if it's in your business or personal life, and it's not really what you want to do, but if you cannot give it that kind of attention and give that quality of work and hard work and dedication, you basically saying, or you showing that you're not really prepared for what is that big job or what is that big path or purpose that is waiting on you.
Exactly.
So in the little things, as we say, you have to give it that attention to detail. You have to put your effort and your love and your dedication towards it, because the thing is about the opportunities that may present itself and that will come, you don't know where it's coming from.
Exactly.
And you don't know who's going to present it to you.
That's correct.
You don't know who is looking.
Yeah.
And
there's always somebody looking.
You're right. So if you're giving that half in, half out work, somebody that might be looking at you might be saying, boy, I really wanted that person for that job,
right.
but the quality is not there. They're not seeing that love and that attention to detail or whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. For me, even I can relate into coaching. There are lots of stuff, but let's say in the football, that when I went into the football, I'm going to coach exodus as a first-time coach in the Premier, and just believing in what I want to do and see for the team. We won the Premier Championship, but not even going beyond thinking of coaching in national teams and all those things. I mean, it was what I want to do, yes, but it was so far-fetched for me because I just began coaching, but not knowing every people that was in the high-ups was looking at what I was doing and how I was doing it and how my dedication towards the work that I am doing and so on. And then opportunity presented itself where I became under 23 assistant coach, women's senior assistant coach, and under 20, and it just came about evolving itself. And I got approached by Harlem as well. Mutually wanted to go to work there, and then that presented itself, and it brought me into all what we're doing here right now.
Exactly, like,
to have a foundation, to work with your organization, to a brand, you know, having shirts, so if I wasn't dedicated to that craft or being that coach that's supposed to lead by example and do all what I do and put 100% into what I was doing, the other opportunities wouldn't have come.
Right, so they could have passed you by.
Yeah, they could have passed me by because I'm not faithful, as you would say, into what I was doing. You know, God presented that first opportunity for me. So how are you going to handle it?
Right.
How are you going to handle that little task that someone give you that's just for your son or your daughter? How they handle the little stuff that you give them? If you say, hey, you need to wash the dishes before you go to play, that little task. And when I was young, I could tell you, I didn't want to wash the dishes, I didn't wash the dishes, I went to play. But you know, as you grow older and you evolve and you have kids of your own and all those things, you learn and you process things and you start to understand that it's not just about the work, it's the experience, the people you meet along the way, the journey, everything that helps to build you and to make you better and to prepare you for that big opportunity that might be coming your way. And you have testimony towards that. Our cameraman right there, Josiah, can have a testimony towards that, in the position he's in right now.
Right.
In working with you, because it came based on how he was dealing with his
current situation
he was doing and how he was working, and we admired it. And then here he is today working with Organize Me, and you have that own personal testimony. We have Joanne Bellett with that testimony. We have a lot of people we work with right now having that same type of testimony, and I guess a lot of people out there in the world having that same testimony. But the thing is to if we go to what's Bible in it, is you're a steward. So if you're a steward, God give you that little thing to manage. Exactly. And you cannot manage it, He's not going to give you.
Then why would He bless you with more?
So we have that story in the Bible about the talents, where He gave that one talent, He gave that 2 talents, 3 talents, or some story like that along the lines. And one guy took the talent and he went and he hid it, because if checking he have one, he want to make sure, but that not the point of it was to multiply it.
Right.
So if you take that one talent and you nurture it, it will bring the other opportunity that you're waiting for. It's not just the other opportunity that's going to just fall at your doorstep every time like that. You know, some people are fortunate where it happens, and thank God for that.
But they can get it and then they can lose it just as quickly.
Yes, because you're not dedicated.
That's correct.
You didn't take time with
the
little things. So you're not prepared to manage.
Yes.
And managing, leadership, all those things ties into one. So if you're managing that little and you cannot do it, what are going to make you manage 10 and bigger amounts of stuff? So we have to be faithful in the little things we do in order to progress in life. So I am thankful for that.
Yeah, what you said in terms of the stewardship is perfect, right? Because that's really what it is. Like, we are stewards with what it is that we have been given in this moment. So how are we really, going to manage that, as you said? And if God blesses us with this thing and we're not managing it properly, then why would He really entrust us with more, right? And it's really just as simple as that. And you said sometimes, for instance, we can just get this big blessing, for instance. And then my question to you, or me just telling you, well, and sometimes you can lose it as easily as you got it. And that's because if you didn't take the time necessarily to to develop this stewardship, there's a discipline that comes with having to deal with what it is that you have to deal with in a situation where it might not necessarily be your favorite situation. It might not necessarily be where you want to be with the rest of your life. But there's certainly a discipline that you learn from being in that situation that will therefore prepare you when the big deal comes along.
Yeah, because I was watching the quotes they have on motivational quotes on Instagram and so on. And we pray for patience, we pray for blessings, we pray for wisdom, for strength, for health, all those things. You pray for it. I suspect we maybe just want it to come, but I was reading this stuff and it's telling you I pray for patience, but God gave me a situation to be patient about. You're praying for the patience, but it's not just get the patience. He's going to present the situation so to see if you can practice patience, to see if you can practice the wisdom.
Yeah.
And as you know, even for our bodies, to see if we can live healthy, we can exercise, we properly rest, do those things. You're managing that.
Yeah.
It's your body, but if you don't manage it properly, then you end up sick, you end up dead, so it's a whole ball game. It's a whole real life situation kind of thing. It's not just you asking for God to bless me, I need $10,000. Right. But you cannot manage $100.
Yeah.
So you're going to manage $10,000.
Exactly.
And it's things I have to be learning as well.
Yeah, and we all have to learn.
Yeah.
And get better at it.
Better.
Yes.
Because these things we ask for these things, but we maybe not even prepared for it.
Yeah.
So that's why the little situations and the learning along the way in those little situations will prepare us for the bigger ones, but we have to be faithful in it, and there's where the patience comes in.
Yes.
There's where the wisdom comes in for you to understand. As long as you can understand those things, you're preparing yourself for something bigger to come, and you have to have the faith that it will come. I mean, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Even me sitting down there today, sometimes I have my issues. I doubt certain things because you worry and boy, that's going to happen. And but it's just for us to have faith in it and believe in God that He can help us do it through and in your ability as well, which is key. You have to have that confidence in yourself that you can do what task that is come upon you. You cannot just ask for it and then do have a plan on how you're going to do it.
Exactly.
So if you're asking for it since last year, you're supposed to be preparing yourself that if it comes, you have an idea of how you're going to do it. You don't asking for it and then when it comes, you're trying to figure out how you're going to do it.
That's exactly it, because a lot of the times what happens is we might be waiting on something really big that we want, or the ideal situation that we want, right? But God has not opened up the door for that to manifest yet. And so we just sort of relax in the position that we are. But that's not the point. The point is that you're supposed to be preparing, right? You're supposed to be preparing yourself so that when it does come, you are able to handle it. Otherwise, you would really mess it up and then lose it, right?
So
yes.
Preparation is key. Preparation begets victory. You have desire to be a manager. Start taking little managerial courses. Go to UEI, Kimon. Do some courses. Put yourself in situations where you know that preparing you for that goal.
Right.
To be able to manage.
Yes.
To be able to do those things. Because when you get the managerial job, and you don't have the experience or you don't have the know-how, the leadership skills and nothing, you find yourself in little time you're out of that managerial job.
Right.
So your desire and your path and your aim and so on is to lead you to that managerial job. You have to start taking the steps that going to guide you to that. So you know as soon as that opportunity knocks, you're ready to go.
Ready.
You know you're not telling the I think or any of those things. You're ready, but
certainly
is the mindset.
Yeah, for sure.
What the mindset is? Is it a growth mindset or it is a fixed mindset? Are you there or you willing to go up?
Willing to go up. I'm going to share an example. So I'll give us, a story, something that happened with me, right? That will exemplify that. And then, Kay, if you want to share more after that, then you can, right? So again, true life story. If you listen to episode 1, so we encourage you to go back and listen from the beginning. Episode 1 where we shared how we met, how we, came to be here right now, right? And then I also shared a part of my journey, right, where I thought I was set up for doing one thing and then that just completely went to something else, okay? So I got an opportunity after I graduated university to work in my field. So I had studied international development and so on, right? So I got this opportunity to work with a really good organization in Toronto, Canada, that would essentially provide first-time employment for young people, okay? So for youth. And the government of Ontario would pay for them to get the job. Okay, so the government would pay the employers to hire them. But if they had gone out, this was the premise of it, if they had gone out on their own to apply for this job, just based on the address that was on their resume, they would not get hired, right? Because
where they came from.
Yes, because of where they came from. Because a lot of them would come from areas with gun violence, a lot of gangs and so forth. So an employer, saying, okay, this area is, might be taking a risk, so we won't go with them. So the entire program was set up to give youth who were living in these particular areas the opportunity to get a job, to gain some money, and then to gain experience. Okay, so all the employer had to do was to just allow them to come in and work, and the agency funded by the government would pay them. Okay, so I came in as a supervisor for one of the sites. So there were 15 of them spread across all over Toronto. I came in at one site and I had 2 staff under me. My site had a lot of difficulties, like more difficulties than any of the other sites. So, like things like my printer wasn't working, the people who were supposed to provide certain things just did not do it. So I ended up with lots of trials at my particular site. Now, we all had to meet on a Friday, so all the supervisors would have to come back to head office and meet every Friday and hand in the timesheets of all the young people who were working in their particular communities, right? Now, they needed to be very, very specific. You needed to have everything filled out properly, otherwise the young people would not get paid, and obviously that would be an issue, right? So I would go in very early, like 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I would leave at 7 o'clock at night, right? And obviously I was not getting paid, right, for the overtime. That was just me being diligent with what it was that I had, and I wanted to do a good job, right? So I was there early, left late, got everything, done. I tried to do as much as possible on my own without having to go to, like my superiors, not to bother them unnecessarily. I really tried to handle as much as I could. And then I would be prepared when it came to Friday to hand in, to present and to hand in my timesheets and to make sure everything was good. And I would literally be there because I remember staying up. I used to stay up many nights, like the Thursday nights, make sure everything was together. When I would go in on the Fridays, mostly everybody else would then be sort of like rushing around, trying to get things together. Okay, and I would just be standing there ready for the meeting to start. And specifically, I remember we used to have to line up like at the accounting department to hand in our timesheets. So we used to have to go to the people in accounts and they would make us line up. And there were two ladies there who were not very pleasant. True story. They were not very pleasant, right? So, but this is the way that I was raised, that you treat everybody with respect, doesn't matter who the person is, and it does not matter how they treat you, right? So I would go up to them and I would say, good morning, with a smile on my face, and I would hand in my timesheets, okay? They would not answer me. Or at least I would have perceived that they would not answer me. Maybe they had super low voices, right? And I just did not hear. But the point is, I never heard a response. I could have just said, well, you know what, forget that. Next bad attitude you have, next time I come to hand in my timesheets, I'm not going to tell you good morning. But I didn't do that. So every week after week, I would say good morning with a smile on my face, and I would hand in my timesheets. When it came to the end of the program, because it ran like for a summer, every summer, and when it came to the end of the program, by the way, this was my first year in the program. So it had many people who were part of this program. Most of them were hired on every summer. So they had been with the organization for years, right? And I was very young. So I was like 24 at the time. And there were people, I remember, team members who were in their 30s, even one who was in his 40s, right, at the time, and I was 24. So anyways, in the culminating activity at the end of the summer program, the director of trusted and special projects, so she was the one, my boss's boss, who was responsible for any projects that the organization dealt with. Right, she approached me and she said, you know what, Kim, the position is becoming available to coordinate the entire program and you should apply.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought she was crazy and I literally told her that, right? I said, what, me? No way, like, no way, I can't do that. Remember, I'm 24, right? And we're talking about 15 offices, right? So I said, no, I can't do that. And she said, believe me, if you could have done what you did this summer, then you can do it. And she told me, which is something that has always stuck with me, is the fact that when she went around the organization and asked everybody, particularly those on the front line who dealt with all the team members face to face, who do they think, if they had to select someone from the team that's already existing, who do they think could run this program? Who would they select? And she said it was unanimous. Wow. They all said me, especially those in accounts. Yes,
that told you that
did not answer me good morning, right? They actually recommended me for that position. So I went on and I took that position, right, where I then managed 15 offices, over 50 staff, over 1,000 youth under my charge, right? And it was, the point of that is that has been the most pivotal, that was the most pivotal point in my life, because it was that position that I gained a tremendous wealth of knowledge. And she was the one, actually, that director, who when I started to know, because then now I work directly under her, right? She was the one who looked at me and told me, you're a project manager. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know what a project manager was. I'd never heard of it. And she explained to me what a project manager does. And she's the one who encouraged me to go and study project management. And so I listened to her and I went. It was because of her and her mentorship that I went and I studied project management, and that I am currently now in the position that I am able to offer the services that I offer, the training, the recruitment. That just didn't come from anywhere. It was from my experience, from this one opportunity, right? Because I was faithful in the little things. In the one site, I was faithful with what I did in the one site, and that got multiplied 15 times.
Beautiful. It's just a little faith, you know. And it's not, when we say the faith, yes, you have the faith, but it's doing the work with love.
Yeah.
You know, when you're dedicated to what you do, people can see that.
Yes.
And people know when things are genuine.
That's correct.
And when you do that thing with love and with passion, it filters all around the place, because the same people you tell in the morning you thought that they gave the recommendation. And the love for what you do is very, very important to bring you a long, long, long way. You know, as for me, as you know, in the coaching, in the football, look, we have a foundation, and we're doing more things and partnering and people seeing exactly what it is. So the coaching, yes, I love the coaching, but it came from that to put me where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
So if I didn't have that love and that dedication for the sport of football and helping young men and wanting them to do better, I could not be where I am today. We're doing a foundation together, mentoring kids,
right,
doing those things together. We wouldn't have that because the love for that not there.
Not there, exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the football and the transition, the same thing. So your love for doing that and helping people and kids put you in the bigger position for you to be on your own now, have it, and then spreading your wings all over, giving that same type of mentorship you got, the same type of dedication, the same type of hard work and ethics and principle and standard, everything you can see pouring out from you taking the most difficult side,
right,
putting it under your wings and performing to the best of your ability with it. So if you have that little opportunity to everyone out there and so on, you have to embrace it. You have to take it, you have to do it properly, do it with love. It might be difficult, not saying it's not difficult.
Yes, you will have your challenging moments for sure.
It might be difficult, but the person that may be looking at you or the opportunity that may be waiting, seeing, that person can handle, and we need that person there, and then your true potential going to show itself.
It will give you the opportunity to really show. Just like I thought there was no way that I could do it, when I stepped into the position, it really, the floodgates opened, and it showed really what I was capable of to my superiors as well as to myself. It really showed me what it was that I was capable of. So we just encourage you, wherever it is that you are right now, whatever it is that you are doing, whether you are working, not working, in a position that you like, in a position that you don't like, just be faithful wherever it is that you are. See the opportunity within the opportunity, as I always tell my team, because there are opportunities all around us, okay? And that will definitely propel you to the next stage of your life. And when you get to that next stage, you do the same thing, and it will propel you to the next stage after that. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you for the next episode. Remember to follow us on Facebook and see what it is that we're up to. We'll put the handles in the description. Bye.